So I'm pleased to say we are watching this iconic England match. It is, of course, the Germany-England match from the Olympic Stadium in Munich. 1st of September 2001. Delighted to say Michael Owen and Emile Heskey, as we'll see from this game, two integral parts of this team and this result. We're going to be watching it alongside us. Michael, firstly, how many times have you watched this game back? Because it is an iconic game, this, isn't it?
Well, I don't think I've ever watched any of my games back throughout my whole career, I'm honest. I mean, of course, I've seen the goals and maybe the highlights. Actually, just as the teams were walking out there, I couldn't even remember Pierluigi Collina, the referee in the game. But
you didn't remember that, game. Really?
No, I didn't remember the referee. No. I mean, I've seen the goals, as I say, but I never sat back and watched games that I played. And maybe when I get old and I've got grandkids, I might tell them what I used to do once upon a time. But this is the first time I've seen the walkout, put it that way.
If I was in your shoes, this would be probably the first game that I'd be showing my grandkids. Emile, what are your memories of this famous night for England?
It's funny hearing Michael say that. I've never watched this game either. We got given a DVD of the game and it's still got a wrapper on it. I've never, it's the first time watching it back, so it's interesting to see all this. But I remember how much noise there were and how hostile it was. But they're environments that you love to play in.
Yeah. What was amazing about this is for the younger viewers that may not remember this, this German team in qualification had a phenomenal record. They'd only lost one of their previous 60 qualification games. So it was a very tough German team you're up against, Michael, wasn't it?
Well, it was. They had only just beat us as well in the last game at Wembley. I remember Didier Hamann scoring the goal. We lost 1-0 at Wembley. So that was a frustration. We knew they were very good, and I think Germany have always got the reputation of doing it when it matters, let's say. There's been a few poor results over the years, but they tend to be friendlies. But as soon as they get into a World Cup or something, they tend to outplay and outperform their actual capabilities, which is an amazing thing that they can do. But we had first-hand experience. We knew this was going to be a difficult game, or we thought it was going to be a difficult game on the game that we played at Wembley, but it turned out to be far from that.
I like the way you said that. Look at it. We'll mention the fans as we go along, because an incredible noise from the away end. Sven-Göran Eriksson, of course, the manager, littered with some incredible names down here. David Beckham, captain, David Seaman there. Collina, the ref. Before we get into this game, you mentioned the last game that you played Germany. That was a famous game as well. Didier Hamann scoring the last ever goal at the old Wembley, and he was a teammate of yours at Liverpool. So, did he give you a bit of stick after that?
Qualifying group so far, 5 wins and just a 1 draw away to Finland. Beating England at Wembley confirmed the progress they have.
Did he give you a bit of stick, Michael, after that?
No, I think you're talking to Emile.
No worries.
No, Diddy was a great guy. I mean, literally, you go through your career and you probably play with, I don't know, a couple of hundred players in your career, but there's a few people that actually remain friends forever, and Diddy Hamann's one of them. We still play golf with each other occasionally. He's still, busy working on television himself, but he's an absolute cracking guy. And it wasn't one of those things. I mean, I remember my mum and dad, they were watching the game with his mum and dad and his wife, and they went over and spent some time with Diddy's family just leading up to the game. So it was very much a case of whoever won, that's just what our sons, what our husbands, what our, what we do. That was just the job. So, I mean, there was certainly no laughing at each other, far from it. And of course, you watch it here and we couldn't get off the much of a work start.
Yeah, 6 minutes on the clock, Emile. Carsten Janker putting the Germans ahead. At this point, Emile, were you just thinking, oh no, it's going to be one of those nights? Because you conceded so early on.
That's his response.
Yeah, the thing is, when you're in their backyard, you want to just stay tight. We actually had a good shape on us, but how they carved us open and then 1-0 up after 6 minutes is, unbelievable. But we reshaped and we regathered ourselves and went again. But I think if you look again, I think 3 minutes later, I think before 10 minutes, they have another chance to go to get a goal, and they should have scored, really.
Emile, how does this affect the game plan? Because was Sven, as part of his pre-match team talk, was he saying, obviously, big first 5, keep it tight? Does the game plan now change completely because you've conceded so early?
You've got so much time to get back into the game, to be honest with you. So you don't really want to change your game plan, but obviously you're aware and you're 1-0 down now, so you've got to have a go.
Michael, was that a foul? Was that the correct decision from the ref?
Oh, of course. It's great centre forward play. You know, you're going nowhere, you're waiting for a little nudge and you get one. Look, I mean, he's literally barged me into the back, of course. Yeah, I'll have some of that. That's good centre forward play. It's interesting, actually, because their goal as well, I think it was Neuville, was it? He actually nodded it down to Janka. We were probably expecting it to be the other way around, the big man and the little man. Big man nodding it down to the little man, but it was quite the opposite. But we responded quite well.
Michael, got to come to you now because I think you know what's coming. Big moment in the game for England. The equalising goal. Michael Owen on the score sheet. Talk us through that one.
Well, I mean, it was brilliant play, really, from Nick Bartonby. It was, you know, when you concede early, you can go two ways. You can lose your shape. I know you asked Emile about does that change the game plan, but it can make you ragged. It can make you change your play and the way you're going to play. But I think we stuck to our guns. Nick Barnby there, great awareness, because he was probably expecting the goalkeeper actually to come and smash him in the back. And probably tricky as well for him to score from where he was and to see me in a bit of space. With great awareness. I know Emile would have done the same, you know, very unselfish way. He kept onside and just nodded it in. And I can just remember in this situation thinking, defender coming, open goal, you've just got to get there first, and all you've got to do is keep it down. Don't think of hitting it well. As long as you hit it over the middle of the ball, it's 1-1. So that was the main thing.
It's Beckham's long ball towards Heskey.
From Beckham, by the way. This is a theme that we see quite a lot, Beckham with the diagonal ball here. And this is a big moment coming up. I want to get your thoughts on this moment coming up, Emile. Strong challenge from Ashley Cole. You're going to see a replay of this. Do you think he was lucky to get away without a booking for this? It's a strong challenge, isn't it?
I think back then you were allowed to you're allowed one chance to make a challenge to someone or a player and get away with it. We were made of stern and stuff back then, so even looking back at it, you're just thinking, well, it was possibly a yellow card.
This wasn't even a yellow, Emile. So here's the replay. Not even a yellow card. Having seen the replay now, what are your thoughts?
That was very painful.
Nowadays, that's a red card. Let's be honest.
Red card,
but
yeah.
You could get away. Yeah, definitely, that's a red card now. But you could get away with tackles like that back then. But I would have said that if the ref had seen that properly, there'd probably been a yellow card.
Michael, got to come back to you. Replay of your goal. Now, on the TV cameras, they had the lines out. Obviously, they had a cutaway of the linesman. Were you in any doubt at any point that it might have been flagged or onside all day long for you?
Well, I don't even know what the rules were back then, if I'm honest. But I know Nick Barnby's a mile onside. I'm a mile onside. So, I mean, the two protagonists, let's say, are both onside. But there were a couple of people that were offside. But I presume at that stage, if you weren't interfering with play, we were probably into that phase at the time. So it looked like an onside goal to me.
Emile, challenge on you there. You've got your arms in the air appealing for a penalty.
Yeah, I'm a centre forward, so I'm going to appeal for everything. But that was good defending, obviously not allowing me to get anywhere near it. Just pull my shirt, hold me down a little.
He saw nothing wrong.
And of course, Kalina, referee, famous referee.
There we go. Here we go.
Brilliant referee.
Listen to that.
Did he get the decision right, Emile?
This is Novotny.
No, that's a foul. I think that's a foul.
Michael, when you were playing and Kalina was the referee, he was widely regarded at that time as the best referee in the world. Did you like having someone of his calibre as a referee when you were playing, or did that not enter into your mindset who was refereeing the game?
He just seemed to be caught off balance there.
I don't think it really enters your mind. Put it this way, when you're preparing for a game in the days and minutes before the game, the last thing you're thinking of who's the referee. I mean, it's pretty comforting to know that you're in safe hands, you know, but anyone can make mistakes. But I do think at the time he was generally regarded as the best referee in the world. So, yeah, I mean, it was. I thought he had a good game as well. I mean, every time he refereed me as a professionally, you know, he had good games. But no, I think you can overplay. I mean, it's not an issue for me.
Yeah, theme of this match, that's the third ball we've seen from Beckham. Diagonal ball from Bex. We all know that his vision was amazing. A couple of chances for you, Michael.
Yeah, the only problem was it was on my left peg and wasn't the strongest. No, we had players at the time, you know, the likes of Lampard, Gerrard, you know, Beckham, Paul Scholes, players of that generation that would spot you a mile off. So we were very lucky. And I was only talking to Jamie Carragher the other day, and he said he watched this game back not so long ago because I was talking to him about it. And he was saying how amazed he was in terms of how direct we were as a team. And I just didn't think about it at the time. But of course, we had Emile, who was a huge presence up front. We had me that was like the spin in behind. And then we had all those players that could put the ball on the six-stump as well. So probably no surprise that we did try to play the killer ball an awful lot of the time. And, you know, obviously it worked in this game.
Yeah, let's talk about your partnership. I've heard you both speak many times before about how you love playing with each other. The combination works really well. Emile, how much, when you look back on your career, your relationship and your partnership with Michael Owen, how much did you enjoy playing together?
Yeah, I've always said it's probably the best partnership that I've had in football, to be honest with you. It was great. We understood what we both brought to the game, and it worked really well. We worked on stuff in training, and we figured things out in the game as well. So it was just something that just clicked straight away. We played together from England under-18s, and it's from it just clicked. We both had an understanding of football, a great understanding of football, and we understood what each of us wanted.
I just saw another chance for England there. Bit of a painful injury. We'll move on from the position of the injury there. David Beckham, Michael, as a captain, as a leader, we've obviously seen what he can do with the ball at his feet. We know that his vision was just outstanding. What was he like in terms of his leadership quality? Because he was captain for England for many years. How did you find him as captain?
Yeah, I mean, David was a great leader. I thought he grew into a role. I mean, when we first played for England, I mean, we wouldn't have been too far apart in terms of making our debuts. He's a couple of years older than me, but he wouldn't have struck you naturally as a captain right at the start. But certainly his status grew within the game. He became more confident, and of course his performances on the pitch were of leadership qualities. So, every different captain is different. Everyone has different attributes. I wouldn't say he was the most vocal, but he certainly, had a big presence, and no one wanted to play for England more than David Beckham. He was very honoured to play for England every time, and I think it was a huge honour for him to be captain. So yeah, I had a lot of respect for him.
And speaking of Beckham, in action again, he had a great first half, and he's standing over the dead ball. We know he's such a great dead ball specialist. Whenever there was a free kick for England, did anyone even attempt to take it, or was it just Bex has got this because he was that good, Emile? Was it always, it's Bex, he's got it?
It's a silly question, really. Bex is the one that's got to take everything. So.
We'll edit it out. And of course, this is a big moment in the game, but also for the player involved. Steven Gerrard scoring his debut goal for England, and what a goal it was, and in what a match, and what a time as well, right towards the end of the first half. Just a great time for Steven Gerrard, Michael.
Yeah, I mean, we had a good representation of Liverpool players at the time, of course. Nick Barmby, Emile, Steven Gerrard, myself, and then there was Didier Mann playing in the German team. But he was just an unbelievable player, was Stevie. Maybe we didn't utilise him and other players around the time as well as we could have. Certainly we did in this game, but he had absolutely everything in his locker. I mean, goals like this just don't surprise you at all. But what a time to score just before half-time. We experienced this on the other foot. I mean, this basically made us qualify for the World Cup in Japan, and we suffered a late sort of first half stoppage time goal against Brazil in the quarterfinals, and you know how much of a body blow it is when you score late into injury time. So it was a great time to score, great player, great strike, but nothing surprised you about Steven Gerrard.
Michael, how did this affect the half-time team talk? Because obviously you scored, as you said, at such a pivotal time in the game just before half-time. How much confidence did it give you? And what did Sven say at half-time?
Well, it gave us a huge lift, of course it did. I mean, all of a sudden, from going 1-0 down and thinking, oh no, is this going to be one of these nights, to actually sticking to our game plan, getting in at 2-1. And I remember vividly going into half-time, and with all due respect to the Germans at the time, you just sometimes you play football and you're playing games and you just think, do you know what? This is just working. We've just got them here. Where you just feel like everything you do, whether it's tactical, whether it's just that everyone's on top of the game, whether it's just you're purely better than them, whatever the reason, you just feel as if we're going to win this. And it just felt like we were far better than the Germans in that first half. So I remember the confidence at half time, thinking we're going to go on and score a few more and hopefully win the game comfortably. But it was you don't get those games often, especially not against a team like Germany.
And another big moment yourself. Look at your face, Michael. Look what it means to you there, the body language.
Yeah, well, again, unselfish play by Emile, and he touched on our relationship before. We'd always look for each other. We were so opposite in many ways in terms of our strengths and weaknesses, but we just dovetailed each other so well. And again, when Emile headed it down, it was perfectly cushioned in front of me, and all I'm thinking is hit it as hard as you can. I hated going for pace, I must admit, and power. But at this point, when the ball's quite tricky, you know, how can I place it when it's bouncing and I'm that far out? So I was just thinking, keep it down and hit it as hard as you can. There was no real, you know, I wasn't aiming for near post, far post at all. I was just thinking, hard as you can, keep it down. Not an easy skill, but I did the best as I could, and it managed to just trickle over the line.
You might not like this question, Michael, but should Oliver Kahn have saved it? Are you gonna? What do you think?
I had deceptive power in my right boot, mate.
Love it. And as Michael says, Emile, a goal that epitomised your relationship. You get the assist, Michael gets the goal. Lovely assist for you there.
Yeah, it was good. You know, I knew where Michael wanted the ball, so but I've got to give him respect for that finish because it wasn't a nice. The way the ball bounced, it wasn't very nice. So you know, he kept it down, but that's the main thing. If you keep it on target, then you obviously get a chance to score.
Emile, I like the way you sort of skirted over this incident here. The only booking for England on the night was yourself for this challenge. Is that the right decision? It's a bit harsh looking back on it. What do you think?
The thing, I didn't catch him as much as Ashley's, but it's still a red card, isn't it?
There we go. Yeah, that was the only booking for England. Yellow card. So 65 minutes on the clock at this stage. 3-1 England. This is a lovely bit of play. This again, Gerard, Michael, talk us through this.
Yeah, Stevie won it in midfield, and of course, if you win it that high up the pitch, then you don't need to do much. It's normally one ball and you're hopefully in. So what you see nowadays, a lot of teams pressing high, winning the ball high, and you're closer to goal. And of course, as soon as Stevie, me and Stevie had a sort of partnership going right from when we were kids, 11-year-old. I think we started playing alongside each other, and as soon as he won it, the pace of the pass, and from my point of view, it's just about trying to have a great first touch, get it out of my feet so I can use my pace. And I think in this situation, this angle of goal, I think a lot of people say go across the goalkeeper, but a lot of the time you've got a big gap in the near post there, and you know, and it was just it was a decent enough finish. The first two, I would say I didn't have much option. The obvious thing was to keep it down and hit it as hard as we can. But this time I had time and I had options, and as I say, a lot of the time coming from that angle, going high and near post, you often get the biggest gap, and Oliver Kahn probably had no chance there.
Yeah, great finish. Just saw a young Michael Ballack being substituted, of course. And we didn't talk about the celebration, Michael. Is that something that you can still do? The acrobatics?
Still do. I couldn't do it then. I literally can't do it now. I mean, that season, that was 2001. I got very excited a few times in that season. One was in the FA Cup final, scoring the second goal against Arsenal. And one was the hat-trick goal against Germany. So I brought the old hamstring out twice in my career, and they were the two occasions. Had to be a special goal for me to bring that celebration out.
Love it. Was that so whenever you were through on goal? Because from watching you, all your goals over the years, you always seem to have very cool, calm, composed in the box. When some strikers, you know, sometimes that is where you might get a bit nervous or overthink it. Did you always have that confidence when you're in the box that you backed yourself to score all the time?
Yeah, I mean, when I look back at my career, you know, you look at the strengths and weaknesses, and I was obviously quick, but I was also cool in front of goal. And in fact, we best let Emile have his moment.
Yes.
Before I start thinking about
Speaking
that.
of cool in front of goal, Emile, this is your moment, making it 5-1.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. When you got Scholes, yeah, it's the same as Stevie. I think with the pass for Michael's goal, all I had to do was make my run. They want it back so high up, and the first thing they think about is forward pass all the time. You just got to make your run, and that's all I did. Didn't have the best touches, to be honest with you, but all I thought to myself was keep it down and try and hit it in the corners. That's what I did.
Yeah, look at the body
Look at
language of
Stolzy
Sven and
turns
Rudy
it,
Voller.
and as soon
Yeah,
as
here you go.
as soon as
Talk us through
it gets it there, you just slap them in. First touch wasn't the best, but I just thought let's keep it down. When you keep it down, you're giving yourself half a chance.
Yeah, and of course you spoke about Michael's celebration. Got to talk about your celebration, Emile, because you did sort of two, didn't you? You did the DJ one and then the golf. Tell us about how those dual celebrations, if you like, came about.
Yeah, the DJ obviously that season with Liverpool we'd won. Well, the season before we'd won the treble, so and I'd scored a few goals, and DJ celebration came out a lot then. It was for a friend, DJ Spoonie. Michael, you obviously know him as well. And he was a very good friend of mine, and he just look, this is the DJ celebration that you're going to do for the season. So, and then I ended up scoring loads of goals, and then this one came out, and then the golf one was him as well. And but the funny thing about the golf one, I don't play golf, so I don't know why I did it.
You don't play golf. You don't know why you did it. I love that. And we've got to mention, Michael, we've got to mention the fans, because when you watch and listen to this back, the theme that runs through this is the noise from the away end just seemed absolutely incredible. Was this one of the best atmospheres you'd experienced, Michael, in an away game for England, would you say?
Well, I mean, we had great support with England. You know, England fans are renowned throughout the world as following their team home and away. So it was absolutely what you expected from them, because they were always there for you, always supported. And the other thing is, you know, you're not going to have a great carnival atmosphere amongst your away fans from a game like this. I mean, it was one of the most iconic games in the history of English football. So, I mean, it was really a case of I was there moment. And of course, you know, to have played in that game was one of those moments as well. I played in that game where England won 5-1 in Germany. It was one of those days, and yeah, I mean, the England fans were always great and always supported and followed us, you know, around that time.
Yeah, amazing, as you say, iconic game. Emile, where does this rank for you in terms of your England career? Looking back on this game, this night in Munich, where does it rank for you, would you say?
It's possibly the best moment. You know, it's the game that throughout my career, and wherever I go, fans will stop you for and say thank you, and say they know exactly where they were when that game was being played. You get some funny ones, like a bloke stopped me and said, after the first goal went in, his dad left and went to the pub and never watched the game. So
Wow.
you get funny ones. You get funny ones like that, but then you get iconic ones like, you know, they was all watching it round a mates, and it was so and so's birthday. When we went 1-0 down, I thought it was going to spoil my birthday, and then suddenly we were 5-1 up, and it was the best birthday ever.
Yeah, best birthday ever. Love that. Michael, of course, you swapped shirts there. So what memorabilia have you still got from this night? 'Cause obviously you scored the hat-trick. What have you still got in your house from this night?
It's interesting that, because I'm just watching it and watching me walking around with that number 3 shirt on, because I remember you know, obviously the Germany number 3 coming up to me asking me for the shirt at the end of the game, and I just swapped it, just thought I was being polite. As I'm walking off, starting to sink in, thinking, what have you just done, scoring a hat-trick, winning 5-1. I'm thinking, I've just given away a really famous shirt here. So I've ran into the dressing room. We always used to get given 2 shirts. You can either wear one first half, one second half, or you just have one spare to swap. So I just kept mine on for the full game. So I ran into the dressing room, got my spare shirt that was dry, and ran into the German dressing room. And of course, everybody's there with their heads on the floor, and I'm like trying to find the lad that I swapped with. And I've just said, can you take this one instead, because I want to keep the one that I played in. And he was absolutely cool with it. So thankfully, I got the real shirt back that I actually played in, and I've got this shirt, the ball, and the boots that I wore in a cabinet at home.
Wow, yeah, York Burma that was. So there we go. That is an iconic night. Very, very famous night for England. Hope you all enjoyed watching it. Michael, Emile, did you enjoy watching that, Michael? Watching it back?
Yeah, I mean, as I say, I've never watched the game back. That's as much as I've watched. Great memories. As I said before, an iconic game. Great to watch it with my mate as well, Emile, who we spent so many great years with, from youth football all the way to club and international football. And just look at that scoreline, England 5-1 against Germany. I mean, it just doesn't happen in your career, really. So fantastic.